Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kyle Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast. Today I'm joined by Chris Miles, who's going to talk about a few things that normally people don't talk about when you do an interview. A lot of times people talk about the fight coming up, how you train, how you live, and that, but they don't really talk about management, and that's something I think a lot of people got to talk about. So before we get into that, make sure you go check out my sponsor for the show, PureSpectrumCBD.com. Use the code CCMMA, for 10% off. Go check it out. It's great stuff. From Colorado, so go check out PureSpectrumCBD.com for 10% off CCMMA. Chris, thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you on again.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about the management and how you got into it, how you were approached. Because it seems like I saw both sides put up a post on Instagram/Facebook. So tell us how you got into it, how you were approached about it.
Yeah. So, it took me a while to actually get an MMA fight booked. And actually, the manager that I had was Tammy Stone through TAC Management. And so she was a matchmaker for a promotion in South Carolina. And so anyway, she matched me with another guy, went down there and fought and then won. And so probably just a couple of days later, she reached out to me and asked if I was wanting to sign with a management company and things like that. At the time, I had one fight. I didn't really know any better, really. So I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, seemed like a good opportunity. But honestly, I wish I kind of would have looked into it a little more in detail than I did. I guess I was a little blind when it came to that part of like the MMA world. I figured, somebody's interested in me and everything seems legit. And then, I just jumped on it. But I kind of wish I probably hadn't.
Is it one of those things where it's like you're excited because a management company is kind of reaching out to you and like, hey, you want to join our team and you got your first fight in? Is it kind of that like young naive jitters that kind of get to you and the excitement of everything? Like people are believing what I can do and hopefully it could go further. Is that something that kind of goes through your mind and kind of catches you and pulls the drawer almost into these management programs?
Yeah, and I think a big thing for me was that so my first fight was in, I think it was like July of like 2018, and I had been trying to get a fight since the beginning of the year, and I couldn't get one. So I figured, I went out there and won in the first round by TKO, and somebody that has their own management company reached out to me, and I was like, man, it's going to be a lot easier for me to get fights through them than it would be normally. So that was a big thing for me because fighting a super heavyweight, especially like in West Virginia, it's hard to come by. Like all of the heavyweights have kind of fought each other, and I was 0-0, and I'm trying to get fights with guys that have 4 or 5 fights, and the commission just really wouldn't have it and things like that. So I'm like, well, I can sign with them and make things a little easier. And in all reality, I've had 6 fights since then, and all of them have been either the promotion reaching out to me or me reaching out to them. And so obviously I'm an amateur, so I'm not paying for the services that she was providing. It was more of like, she's going to kind of steer me in the right direction. But, it was really, honestly, for example, like up at Cage Wars, Tim would reach out to me and say, hey, we want you on this card against this opponent. What do you think? And I'm like, I'm 100% down with it. Let me just, let Tammy know and make sure everything's cool. And then I, text her or call her and she's like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. That's kind of the extent of the management relationship that we had, you know what I mean? So everything was really done by me reaching out or people reaching out to me, so, I thought it was a good deal because, I'd heard some bad things about her, but she had never done anything, negative towards me or like that, I was like, man, it's, maybe people were just hating on her or whatever, but, I had no clue, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I don't know too much about Tammy. Like, did you have to pay her or at this moment or no?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Amateur, no. So it's more of, she was just supposed to just, kind of help me get different fights and things like that. And then when I turned pro, I think she was charging like maybe I signed the contract 2 years ago. I think it was, if you sign with her as a pro, it's like 12% or 15% of your purse. And then if she brings you from an amateur to a pro, then it's like an extra 5% or something like that, I think. But I never paid her one time. And like I said, honestly, up until just a few days ago, I had a good relationship with her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, is management something you're going to look for right now, or is this kind of something you're going to hold back on and kind of try and do yourself for the moment? Because, as a pro, you just said you turned pro. A lot of these guys have managers, and like you said, they don't always have a real hands-on. I'm not saying she did or didn't, but a real hands-on approach to a lot of things. There's just kind of a couple phone calls and that's it. Nothing really too in depth. So is management something you're going to hold off for right now?
No, I think that I've already talked to a few different organizations or companies, and I think I've pretty much settled on who I think I really want to help take control of my career. I can't really release any details right now. We're still trying to make sure everything's going to come together smooth, but I'm pretty much set up already. Just recently I've reached out to some people, and some people have reached out to me, but I've been talking to this guy for about a week or so, and I think we're pretty much good to go. We're just kind of, waiting a little bit to make everything official. But honestly, man, I plan on staying with her for a while. Like I'm only 5-1 as an amateur. I think I'm going to take one more fight back down at maybe another fight or two. I definitely want to fight at 265 one more time, because that's what I'm going to fight at every fight as a professional. So like I said, I'm pretty much set on the management side, I think. But another week or so, we'll know for sure.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to someone who's just getting into MMA? They're an amateur. Same thing after one fight as an amateur. Someone approaches them about what they want to do with their future and stuff like that. How would you go about giving them advice?
I think honestly, every situation is different. For me, um, I wasn't in a real gym up until 2 fights ago. So if you're in a big gym or a gym that you're training with teammates that have managers, maybe that's a connection you can go with. But for me, like I said, I was training in a boxing gym here and there. And that kind of closed down, and I went to a real gym, but. There was really nobody in there that I could speak to about management. I was kind of flying by the seat of my pants, I guess you could say. And anyway, I would say just before you sign anything, just go ahead and do your research. Take a couple of days, talk to some people, who would know maybe that person or whatever. Maybe just even your coaches, if they know anybody that's reliable and dependable. That's the way I would do it. But even as an amateur, you really don't need a manager as an amateur. I don't think. I think you can do a lot of it by yourself. Because for me, I was signed to a management company, but I did everything on my own. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
As far as reaching out and I think, like I said, everything's kind of individualized. But for me, if I agreed to a fight, I showed up. Like I never fought in my home state. Like I fought in South Carolina, which was 8 hours away. I fought in Ohio, which was 3.5, 4 hours away twice. I fought in New York, which is 12 hours away from me twice, and then Florida, which is 14.5 hours away. I always showed up and did what I was supposed to do, whether that's win or lose. But never anything. I was never negative about anything. I always tried to be professional when I showed up, and I think that showed. I think everybody that I've worked with or fought for, they know that if I agree to something, I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to do everything I can. If I don't know, man, you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm
Absolutely.
done everything professionally. I've done everything respectfully. I've never, even when I was supposed to fight Bob that time, like it was back and forth on Facebook, but that was just more of trying to sell a little of a fight, because I know he's like the hometown guy and he's gonna have a lot of people there, just trying to make that interesting. But even with him, I went and trained at their gym too, so it's not like there's no bad blood. So I don't know, man. I feel like if you do what you say you're gonna do, then good things will come to you.
Absolutely. Now I saw you training out on the beach the other day in an Instagram post. How's
Yeah.
training going? Any fights lined up? I know you just recently took one in Florida. So how's everything going for you training wise?
Yeah, we're trying to be as normal as possible, but as safe as possible at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that Instagram post was from the day before the fight that I fought on, I think it was on the 11th. But that was another thing. Like with the management company, I feel like the promoter hit me up because there was a last minute back out for the opponent that I fought, or for my opponent for that night, and he reached out to me. I didn't know him. I don't know how he knew me. Maybe we were just mutual friends on Facebook, but um, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, this is what we want to do. We want you to fight this guy on this date or what." And it was like 13 days notice or something, and I was like, absolutely, like I definitely want to fight, especially during this pandemic. Like, you don't know when you can fight again. You know what I mean? So, like, I reached out to my management, and she didn't want no part of it because she had a past with that guy. And I'm like, listen, like, that's between you guys. Like, from the people that I know that I fought for him, everything's been a-okay. Like, nothing's been shady. So I was like, I want to go fight because I'm trying to fight professionally by the end of this year. And if I don't have the fights that I feel I need as an amateur, then that's not going to happen. And so, it took me really just saying, well, like, I know you don't want me to fight there, but I'm going to fight anyway. That's what happened. And, like, we went and fought, everything was perfect. The guy, like, had a big disagreement with my former manager, but he never said anything bad while I was there. He didn't try to, down talk her or anything like that. He was just like, hey man, this is our issue. Like, there's nothing to do with you. And, we're professional here. We want to see you succeed when you come here as well. So that's kind of my relationship with that. Like, that's how that all happened. But I do have a fight back down there in Tampa scheduled on, I think it's October 24th. I think it's a guy that's 5-1 as well, and going to defend the super heavyweight title that I just won from there. And I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be my last amateur fight if I can't get one scheduled, in the month after that or so. But I really want to fight professional, man. I feel like I'm ready. I feel like my training is going really good. I've made a lot of jumps. I'm way a little more than I should right now, but I'm working on that too. So,
Absolutely. And you talked about fighting at 265 for the rest of your career as a professional.
yeah.
What do you have to do from an amateur to a professional to find yourself successful on the next level? Anything specific in training, the way you fight, anything like that?
I think it's going to come back down to finding the right management and the right person to help guide my career in that path. Because like, a good manager will get you, especially when you're just going to make a pro debut, he'll get you the fights that you need to have. He's not going to put you in there with somebody that's 5-0 or 6-0. He's going to help you build your career, and I feel like that's the way it should be. Like, I'm not scared to fight anyone. I'll fight anyone with any record, but that's why you pay a manager and a company so they can send you on the right direction. That's my opinion. But I think my training is going really well. I've got a lot of really good training partners and a lot of good people that has helped me in the last couple of months.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, I'm definitely looking to see you get back in the cage. What is one thing about you that nobody knows but you want to share?
I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything that I haven't disclosed in the last couple of interviews with you and Ben down there in Cage Wars. So I don't know. Like, I think that I'm a pro wrestler. I'm a high school wrestling coach. I'm a youth wrestling coach. I've got 3 kids. I'm married. Like, I don't know, man. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, how what is it like though to train? Like, you're the amateur. There's not many amateur fighters that have traveled as much as you.
Mm-hmm.
You said South Carolina, Florida, New York, upstate New York. You've traveled quite a bit to fight. How do you believe that's going to help you when you get to the pro level?
I think that like everything, like, doing these interviews with you and doing the interviews with Ben from Cage Wars, and going far away out of my comfort zone, that's going to ultimately prepare me for fighting in the UFC one day, hopefully. I think that I've done, like, just as an amateur, like I said, I've only had 6 fights, and I've done over 10 interviews. Like, I've done a lot of that, so I'm not really. I was kind of gun shy at first in the first few, but now I feel comfortable. I feel like I don't have to be anybody but myself, so that's good. And then just like I said, traveling. Like, everybody I've fought, well, 90% of the people I've fought has been like their hometown. Aside from probably 2 fights, and you go into a hostile environment like that, far away from your home. only you and and your maybe one or two coaches, man. It could be a little scary for some people, but I feel like I thrive in that environment. I feel comfortable there. Like I love being in that environment, like fighting someone
Hmm.
you're not supposed to beat and then going out there and winning. Like that's one of the best feelings to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey man, I wish you the best of luck when you find out when your next fight is. Definitely let us know. Looking to find out the announcement about who you're going to be with as a management team. Big things coming for you. Definitely looking forward to seeing you make that transition to professional. Any last words? Anyone you want to shout out, Chris?
Yeah, man, I just appreciate the time you giving me this platform. Hopefully it will help somebody in the future, whether they like me or don't like me, like I'm not lying about anything. Like I'm just giving you my honest opinion into things that have happened to me. And I don't mean, I just, shout out to all my training partners, my gym down there, Ground Zero, my coach, Hunter Mead, and then my wife and kid for allowing me to do the things that I do.
Awesome, Chris. Well, best of luck, and we'll be chatting soon as you get the notifications of the fight and everything else. So, like I said, best of luck. And this is Carol's Corner MMA podcast for MyMMAnews.com, and we're signing off. Have a great day, and everyone stay safe and healthy.